The thrift store gift card felt like a punch to my face. I stayed motionless. As my family's laughter resonated around the elegant restaurant where we convened for my 30th birthday luncheon, my name is Sierra, and this was the moment I resolved to obliterate my family's opinion of me. Forever? Oh, come on, lighten up. Ava, my elder sister, wiped tears of mirth. From her perspective, it is ideal for you and your frugal lifestyle. I feigned a smile, clutching the inexpensive plastic card with such intensity that it penetrated my palm at the restaurant. Crystal chandeliers shimmered above, ridiculing the $10 gift card to goodwill that rested before me. Thank you, I managed. My voice remained steady despite the fury building within me. How considerate we were to merely contemplate. My mother, Bridget, interjected while adjusting her pearl necklace, suggesting that given your prudence with finances, you could find value in this. My brother Lloyd chuckled into his champagne glass. Now, you may purchase all the second-hand blazers you desire for those investment banking interviews you continue to struggle with. They were just aware that I resided in my unpretentious flat and drove my pre-owned Honda, donning thrift store apparel not out of necessity, but by choice. Every dime I had saved over the preceding 8 years was meticulously allocated. I explored investments while they presumed I was failing at life. I had amassed a fortune. While I struggled to envision discussing employment, my father Malcolm interjected, scarcely diverting his gaze from his phone, as Lloyd merely observed. Finalized another significant agreement with Clayton Corp, generating $10 million in revenue. He finally acknowledged my presence. He may recommend you for a position in their mailroom, eliciting more laughing. I took a prolonged sip of water while recalling the notification I received that morning regarding my most recent stock portfolio. I had been intending to convey something to all of you, but first, is that Melissa? Ava nearly screamed while gesturing towards an individual across the restaurant. I recently became a partner at Goldman. Let me greet them, and just like that, I was overlooked once again as my family lavished attention on AA's serendipitous meeting with her accomplished former classmate Eric, my closest friend. A friend and the restaurant manager captured my attention from across the room. He was aware that he was the sole individual privy to the information. He approached our table with practiced professionalism, inquiring if everything was satisfactory with the food. Everything is excellent. Mother expressed enthusiasm as we celebrated Kiara's birthday, but, truthfully, at 30, one would question the necessity. She would likely have more to celebrate than merely another year, as she indicated. Indistinctly regarding my entire existence, Eric's jaw clenched, although his customer service remained intact. Her smile remained unwavering. Indeed, Mrs. Burns, I would assert that she has plenty to celebrate. She is one of our most esteemed individuals. I interrupted him with a subtle shake of my head. It was not yet the appropriate moment. Indeed, the dinner is excellent. Thank you, Eric, I remarked softly as he departed. The phone vibrated, illuminating his face as he read the message. Dad, regarding that acquisition we discussed. Concerns at Clayton Corp suggest the involvement of an enigmatic investor. I acquired a majority share, which elicited my father's disapproval, suggesting it could lead to complications. Be vigilant. I suppressed a smirk while contemplating the documents secured in my home office safe. The signatures were. I am still awaiting the completion of the documents that would appoint me as Lloyd's superior. Do not be concerned, I assured. Rising and collecting my belongings, I am confident that everything will unfold as it ought to, departing from my mother. We're disappointed that we haven't had dessert yet, especially since several of us have work tomorrow. I responded by placing $100 cash on the table for Eric, expressing gratitude for lunch. As I exited, I heard AA's voice behind me, remarking on her heightened sensitivity. It was merely a jest. However, it no longer feels that way to me. 8 years of meticulous consideration. Strategizing to live frugally while discreetly constructing an empire was on the verge of yielding results. They believed that providing me the thrift store gift card was amusing. Wait till they realize I run the company that embodies everything they oppose. I stepped out into the radiant afternoon sun and retrieved my phone to contact my lawyer, It was time to initiate proceedings. In motion, I mumbled happy birthday to me as I dialed. The phone rang. I inquired if the connection was completed twice before proceeding. Congratulations, Miss Burns, you are? As the majority shareholder of Clayton Corporation, I concluded the conversation and grinned. Contemplating the gift card in my purse, it would serve as an ideal bookmark for the tack over paperwork. Eric arrived at my flat that evening with a bottle of premium champagne and 2 glasses. I thought you deserved a real birthday celebration following that disastrous lunch I allowed him to attend. Next to a pile of financial records, I had been examining my modest 1-bedroom apartment. The apartment was a stark contrast to my family's mansions, although it fulfilled its intended function. Maintaining a facade while I amassed my wealth, you should have witnessed their expressions after your departure, Eric remarked, interrupting the conversation. Your mother devoted 20 minutes elucidating her concerns over your financial predicament to everyone. Chuckled while accepting a drink, unaware that I could purchase her house 10 times over. Regarding purchases, Eric plopped into my tattered couch. Did everything proceed smoothly? I officially concluded my association with Clayton Corp 2 hours ago and retrieved my laptop. Presenting him with the confirmation emails, the board remains unaware of my identity. They only recognize their new majority shareholder is functioning via a holding firm, and Lloyd is unaware that his elder sister is on the verge of becoming his superior. Eric inclined. Kiera 8, continue your analysis of the screen. You are involved in a crucial chess match. After years of planning, I sipped champagne each time they ridiculed me for my thrifty lifestyle. Disregarded my professional aspirations, I was progressing towards this when my phone vibrated. Ava's message expresses hope that you are not too displeased with the gift card. We are merely attempting to be considerate. To assist you in organizing your life, Eric read the message over my shoulder and derisively remarked that he would help you by humiliating you. They have consistently behaved in this manner, I remarked, discarding the phone. Do you recall when I finished at the pinnacle of my class in finance? They devoted the entire ceremony to discussing Lloyd's recent promotion, and now you possess his firm. Eric lifted his glass to karma. The champagne scorched as it descended. It is not solely about karma. Tomorrow morning, I will be visiting the Clayton Corp headquarters to confer with the board. They anticipate a ruthless business raider. Instead, they are receiving the girl whom everyone knows. I misjudged your idea. I retrieved a folder containing organizational charts and financial documents. Lloyd's department has been incurring substantial financial losses for years, shielded by his affiliations. Nonetheless, I will now reorganize everything. You will terminate his employment.
No, Ismilat.
I will require him to earn his position for the first time in his life. My phone rang. My mother's face illuminated the screen. I allowed it to go to voicemail, as they are likely organizing another intervention. Eric remarked, recall the incident when you declined the position at your father's firm? That was the best decision I ever made. I rose and approached my window, gazing at the city lights. Believed I was irrational for commencing at the lowest tier of a trading organization rather than leveraging my father's influence, and now you are valued higher than their collective worth. Eric approached me at the window. But, Kiera, are you certain you wish to proceed? Upon your revelation, there is no return. Observe me. I will confront him tomorrow morning. By next week, I will enter the boardroom as their new owner, executing modifications, and precisely 1 month later at the quarterly family dinner, I will disclose everything. Eric's demeanor became grave. You understand this will not only harm Lloyd, but your entire family as well. I need to wake up my entire family. I retrieved the thrift store gift card from my purse and affixed it to my bulletin board. They believe success manifests alone in their manner. It is time to demonstrate to them their misconceptions. What is the problem, and how does it affect us? Eric inquired softly after everything transpires. His look signifies that you are the one individual who has ever shown faith in me, which holds substantial meaning. The moment lingered. Between us, laden with potential, my phone vibrated once more, a message from Clayton. The board is confirming tomorrow's meeting, which I should attend, as Eric mentioned during the gathering. You need to rest before tomorrow at my door. Just exercise caution. While revenge may provide temporary satisfaction, it has the potential to engulf you. This matter extends beyond mere emotions. I responded that it pertains to justice and perhaps, ultimately, respect after his departure. Stood in my room amidst the proof of my clandestine existence, investment records, company documents, and years of meticulous planning. Tomorrow will alter everything. I made contact with the gift card. My bulletin board, its inexpensive plastic palpable beneath my fingers, serves as a source of incentive. I whispered to my absent family as my phone vibrated one last time with a calendar reminder. For tomorrow's board meeting, I programmed my alarm, arranged my power suit, and smiled. It is time to reveal the true essence of Kiera. I was perusing acquisition documentation in my preferred coffee shop when AA's shadow appeared. My sister's fancy heels clicked against the floor as they tumbled across my table. As she extracted a chair, she remarked humorously, "What an unexpected encounter," however her tone conveyed otherwise. It was implied that this was a coincidence, particularly given that this cafe is 20 blocks from your residence. I gradually closed my laptop. I appreciate their coffee. I terminated the ACT. Kiera leaned. With her flawlessly manicured nails tapping on the table, I observed you exiting Clayton Corp. Headquarters in a suit that was certainly not from Goodwill. My heart raced, although I maintained a neutral attitude during my job interview. She revealed her intentions. I contacted Lloyd, who mentioned that a mysterious new investor is acquiring assets at work. I recalled your recent behavior, particularly the clandestine phone conversations and your surveillance of my actions. She smiled while protecting her family, but her eyes remained devoid of warmth. I also made a call. My father's acquaintance at the SEC conducted an investigation into recent stock acquisitions, causing me to feel a sudden loss of color in my face. That information is confidential. Yet, nothing remains confidential when one possesses the appropriate authority. Connections. AA's voice diminished to a whisper, inquired, "What are you attempting, little sister? Are you trying to jeopardize Lloyd's career? Enhance your well-being. You lack understanding of the subject matter." Retrieved an email on her phone indicating that a holding firm is registered to a P.O. box in Delaware. Became the primary stakeholder of Clayton Corp., utilizing the same P.O. box associated with it. Numerous additional investment accounts have been silently amassing cash for years while I gazed at my lukewarm coffee. How did you perceive me? I am not as foolish as you believe. Ava's smile shifted. Predatory, and unlike you, I do not need to conceal my achievements. Here is the situation. To proceed, you must sell those shares, or I will disclose your activities to everyone. Blackmail involving relatives. She rose up, adjusting her fancy purse. You have 24 hours. Hours to initiate the process, or I will convene a family meeting, and believe me, they would be displeased to discover that their charity case has been deceitful all these years. As she departed, I realized her voice trembles with fear. She is paralyzed, like you are frightened because, for the first time, you are unable to act. I controlled the narrative, standing at her height in my heels, apprehensive due to your presence. Your younger sister may indeed surpass you in achievement. Do not be absurd. How is your divorce proceeding, Ava? I observed her react to the assets you have concealed from your ex-husband, which your father has been assisting you in safeguarding. If she revealed that information, her complexion would turn ashen. You would not dare to challenge me. I have prepared my belongings. While maintaining a steady voice, I will pursue your investments if you pursue mine. Unlike you, I possess tangible evidence that this is not concluded, she growled. Indeed, I bore the burden of my suitcase, but it is important to recall that you initiated the conflict with that gift. Document all subsequent events. The responsibility is with you. I exited the cafe, I trembled when I called Eric. She understood when he responded, and Ava deduced the situation. To what extent does she possess knowledge that could be perilous? I signaled for taxi. However, she possesses leverage. She will remain silent, at least for the time being. Sierra. Eric's voice was, "Perhaps this is an indication to cease and withdraw before what occurs before I." I will ultimately assert myself before revealing my true identity, followed by an extended wait. Before someone sustains significant injury, they have been inflicting pain on me for years. I provided the driver, Clayton, with a corpse. I will not relent. The board meeting to deliberate on restructuring commences in 2 hours, by which time Ava will have made her decision. What action should I take before it becomes too late? Years ago, I observed the city blur by my window. I intend to demonstrate I informed my elder sister that her connections are not the sole ones of significance. I concluded the call and extracted the board meeting agenda. Agenda Item 1. Department Performance Review for Lloyd's Department, allowing AA to proceed. Her warnings indicated that she was not the sole participant in this game, and unlike her, having nothing left to lose, the taxi delivered me to the dazzling Clayton Tower as I exited. My phone vibrated with a message from Ava, Last Chance's younger sister. Don't make me. I responded with 2 words. Try harder. Then I adjusted my jacket. I stepped through the revolving doors, prepared to showcase my abilities to my family, the underdog, at the board meeting. During a video call, I observed 12 faces becoming progressively uneasy as I delineated the company's situation. The inefficiencies, notably inside Lloyd's department, are alarming. I stated this with a forceful voice, notwithstanding my tone. The East Coast Division has been functioning at a 40% deficit for 3 months via a speech modulator. Successive quarters. Nonetheless, Mr. M. Anonymous, an investor on the board, noted that Lloyd leads the section. Well connected, I am indifferent to his association with the president. I interject that I disabled the encrypted connection at my private office across town and made a call. Eric inquired about the outcome, likening it to observing dominoes as I initiated my actions. They're worried about the mysterious new owner's stretched heels. No one thinks it's the girl they saw struggling. For years, my phone vibrated with notifications from AA, which I consistently disregarded. Your sister is not involved. Eric stated that she visited the restaurant to inquire, allowing her to pose her queries. I have more significant issues. I access Lloyd's company email on my laptop. Dear brother, I have submitted a complaint to HR on the new ownership, asserting that the changes are inequitable and discriminatory towards him. Specifically, they are not the issue. I have submitted the correspondence to my legal counsel. He has never had to justify his position until now. He must now exert effort to maintain it. My office door opened and Eric entered, concluding our call, and presented a paper bag, believing you might require it. During lunch, my hero, retrieved the bag and extracted a sandwich. How did you manage to bypass it? Security, I am acquainted with individuals as well. He was seated opposite me when your mother called. The restaurant is concerned about you, as you are not responding to anyone's calls. I am occupied with managing a firm. I took a piece of the sandwich. What am I supposed to say? Apologies for missing your calls. I was preoccupied. Actively destroying Lloyd's comfortable position. Perhaps inform them of the truth. They were almost suffocated due to their adept management of AA's discovery, particularly around Ava. Eric moved uneasily. She is no longer merely inquiring, but issuing threats. What type of threats? She is informing others that you are unstable and on the verge of engaging in desperate actions due to jealousy of Lloyd's success. I laughed, yet there was no amusement in it. A quintessential aspect of Alcoholics Anonymous is the perpetual attempt to exert control. My phone rang. It was Lloyd. Despite my better judgment, I answered. Speaker Kiera's voice was frantic. You must assist me. Everything is collapsing. What do you mean by the new investor adopting all these changes at work? Audit criteria for performance reviews indicate that my department lacks sufficient profitability. I captured Eric's attention as I replied, Isn't that merely business you failed to comprehend, Lloyd? I have exerted considerable effort to get my current position. Have you? What is the implication of such a statement? I maintained a neutral tone. I am certain you will resolve it. That is it. He was nearly shrieking, God, you are ineffectual. I questioned your inability to secure legitimate employment. I terminated the conversation, my palm trembling with anger. Eric inquired gently, Perfect. I accessed the company's information. It is, in fact, time for Phase 2 of the organizational chart, Lloyd. The department requires a comprehensive restructure, beginning with the appointment of a new direct supervisor. Sierra, I did not raise my hand. Do not say I'm overstepping. You've seen his treatment of me and others. Eric rose and approached me. I simply do not want you to become consumed by this revenge scheme. I am not losing myself, as I have stated. As I begin to type, I am finally discovering my identity. My phone vibrated once again, indicating a family message. My mother has arranged an emergency family meal for tomorrow evening to discuss Kiara's situation. Regarding the behavior, she commented, "Perfect timing." I whispered while displaying the text to Eric. "Are you not attending?" "Of course, I am," I said with a smile, while assessing Lloyd's performance. "I think tomorrow night will be perfect for a few revelations, but proceed cautiously, as Eric has already issued a warning. You inform them that there is no possibility of reversal. I have dispatched the restructuring memorandum. Having become weary of regression, it is time to progress, as if prompted by my phone." The memo had reached Lloyd's department, and he would walk tomorrow, illuminated by notifications. Arrives at work to discover that his entire world has transformed, and tomorrow evening during supper, he would discover the reason I gazed at Eric, desiring him to be my date for a family dinner. "Oh, I am not igniting anything," stated while rising. I am finally allowing them to witness the fervor, as I observed through the security footage of Lloyd. He went into Clayton Corp's lobby, his face flushed with anger, confronting his new supervisor. Sarah, whom I personally selected, remained composed at the reception counter. "This is absurd," Lloyd forcefully placed a stack of papers down, stating, "I will not complete performance improvement forms." "Are you aware of my identity, Sarah?" She adjusted her spectacles. "Your quarterly results are self-evident, Mr. Burns. The new ownership necessitates all underperforming divisions will be subject to examination, namely the underperforming Lloyd's Voice. I secured the Anderson account only last month, which resulted in financial losses for the United States due to inadequately negotiated terms." Sarah responded by sliding another form across the desk, as the new owner had been rather explicit regarding it. Accountability. My workplace phone rang. "Eric, your brother, is causing quite a disturbance. Security contacted me due to our friendship, inquiring whether they should intervene or allow him to continue digging." I altered the camera angles to monitor Lloyd's outburst. "The restaurant is busy. Your mother is here with Ava, and they are organizing something for tonight's supper." I checked my watch. It is 6 o'clock. Hours remain until the family supper. Any insights regarding their plans? They have repeatedly referenced some form of intervention. Your father's attorney was also present. They were unwittingly facilitating my plans, as evidenced by the disturbance captured on the security footage. Lloyd was vociferously reprimanding his entire crew, accusing them of sabotage while indicating the performance. "Someone is manipulating the metrics displayed on the conference room screen to harm my reputation. The figures are precise," Sarah stated, her composed voice resonating over the feed. "Would you like to deliberate on them?" The owner is available for a video call, and Lloyd's face turned pale. "Certainly, they are really hands-on." Sarah picked up her phone. "Shall I connect you now?" I reached for my secure line, prepared to alter my voice, but Lloyd retreated. "No, that is not essential. I will attend to these forms, Ms. Wise Choice Sarah." As I resumed my work, I silenced the feed when my personal phone vibrated with a text from Ava. "Hope you're prepared. This evening, it is time to confront reality, little sister." Eric's voice resonated through the office line, warning that you are engaging in a perilous endeavor. The game Sierra is no more perilous than what they've been engaging in for years. Collecting my belongings. The board meeting is in an hour and Lloyd's performance assessment is scheduled. The primary agenda item, following which I will return home to change for. As I prepared for dinner, I smiled at my reflection in the office window, ready to attire myself for the impending challenge. Eric stated he will collect you at 7. Please refrain from instigating any conflicts prior to that time. The meeting exceeded my expectations through my anonymous video feed. Observed Lloyd's performance, which was publicly exhibited, while the board members shuffled uneasily throughout the years. I emphasized through the modulator that preferential treatment and financial losses must persist. He must either improve significantly within the next month or we will need to explore alternative choices. Nevertheless, his father is a board member. His father is not the primary shareholder. I am, and I have expectations. Results, not excuses. Following the meeting, I returned home to prepare supper and my phone was overwhelmed by messages from Lloyd. Everything is disintegrating. I require assistance. Your assistance from Ava is the final opportunity to withdraw from Mother, dear. We are all concerned. We need to discuss your recent behavior, as conveyed by Dad. I have disregarded all of them. I retrieved my evening attire. Not the anticipated designer labels, but a crisp, forceful suit I had purchased. With my own funds, Eric arrived precisely at 7, appearing anxious. I approached my bulletin board and removed the thrift store gift. I am now prepared. Having placed the card into my purse, your sister has contacted the restaurant. Once again, he said as we drove, she is convinced that you are experiencing some form of breakdown. Let her believe that, I observed. The city lights blur by. In approximately 2 hours, they will fully comprehend the extent of their errors, and then I will respond accordingly. Observe him, and people will ultimately recognize my true self, rather than perceiving me as a mere charity case. My younger sister is not a letdown to their family. It is solely me. We arrived at an exclusive restaurant. Through the glass, I could see that my father had already chosen a seat for my mother and the others. Ava whispered urgently while fumbling with her pearls, and her father checked his phone. Lloyd appears to have aged a decade since this morning. Eric, this is your final opportunity to withdraw. Said I seized my handbag, sensing the GI card there. There was no possibility of the concert is about to commence. Taking Eric's arm, I entered the restaurant prepared to disrupt my family's life. My mother's voice dripped with distaste as Eric, my date, pulled out my chair. Darling, what is he doing here? I mentioned adjusting my suit jacket and being a successful restaurant manager, not otherwise. Should you have ever inquired, this is a familial issue, AA retorted. We must address it. Discuss your recent activities. Lloyd had not diverted his gaze from his whiskey since my arrival, his typically immaculate hairstyle. His hair was untidy, and his fashionable shirt was wrinkled. Yes, let us talk activities. I opened my menu calmly and inquired, how's work, Lloyd? His head shot up in response. My father, Lloyd, cautioned me about work before ultimately setting down his phone, indicating that it was not the appropriate time. We are here to discuss your sister's troubling behavior. The waiter approached, but Eric dismissed him. I laughed, acknowledging the anxiety caused by my troubling behavior. My mother stretched across the table, her costly bracelets clinking, and said, Sweetie, Ava disclosed everything. The clandestine investments and dubious contacts raise concerns that you may be engaging in illicit activities. I retrieved my phone and accessed my investment portfolio, specifically referring to these very genuine holdings. Or perhaps you are alluding to my majority ownership in Clayton Corporation. The color drained from Lloyd's face. Did you just say, oh, didn't AA inform you of that detail? I turned to my sister. It seems you were well informed about my actions. You must have mentioned that aspect. This is precisely what we are discussing. As I discreetly set my phone aside, a discussion about my father interrupted these false claims. Verify the figures across the table. Dad, you excel in numerical analysis, correct? What you consistently articulated while elucidating why Lloyd merited his position more than I warranted mine. His palm trembled as he grasped the phone. This cannot be real, yet it is. I retrieved the thrift store gift card and positioned it beside my phone. Regard it as my return on investment. Cease this behavior, Ava. You are causing embarrassment. I inquired of Lloyd, how is the performance review progressing, brother? Sarah seemed to believe that your residence requires much enhancement, particularly about Lloyd's whiskey glass. My mother inquired, what are you concealing? Between us, Lloyd, what is she discussing regarding the new owner? He muttered, the one who is... Who's been holding you accountable? I completed it for him, making you truly accountable. Strive for your achievement. Indeed, that would be me, Eric, as he placed a steady hand on my arm. As my father rose suddenly, he declared, "This is absurd. I am contacting my attorney." "Sit down." My voice was resolute. "Your lawyer cannot assist. Everything I have done is definitive, entirely lawful, in contrast to assisting Ava in concealing assets after her divorce, my mother." Gasping, AA's face turned pale. "How dare you?" she began. "No. How dare you?" I leaned in. "How dare you all treat me as if I were insignificant or a failure for not adhering to your prescribed route? Success. My mother implored me for assistance while deriding me by providing me with." I pushed back my chair while giggling over thrift store gift cards. "While you were all laughing, I was constructing something greater than Lloyd's inherited position." Eric softly spoke about the financial aspects of AA's marriage or the ties of their father. With a warning in his tone, I inhaled deeply. The amusing aspect is that I will wait until tomorrow to inform everyone, but then you had to stage this small event. My father stated that we, as a family, have the right to be concerned, and I stood up for our family. Family does not belittle one another, disregard aspirations, or ridicule challenges. Rather, family members support each other. Eric, who stood beside me, "Where are you going?" my mother inquired, her voice tinged with panic. "We have not yet placed our order. I have lost my appetite." I retrieved the gift card, however. "Do not be concerned. I am confident that Lloyd can provide you with comprehensive details regarding tomorrow's board meeting, as his entire future at Clayton Corp is at stake. It is contingent upon it. You cannot go with this," Lloyd stated, his voice faltering. "I have already done so." Turned to depart, then hesitated. "Oh, an AA. Those concealed assets. The documentation is already en route to your location. The lawyer of my ex-husband regards it as a present from my caring sister, as Eric and I." As I exited, I heard my mother weep uncontrollably and my father vociferously calling for the waiter. However, for the first time in my life, their reactions were inconsequential. "Are you all right? Are you all right?" Eric asked as we approached his vehicle. I glanced back at the restaurant window where my family sat in a state of stunned disarray. "Never better," I remarked, "but tomorrow promises to be even more intriguing. The true spectacle is merely commencing in the Clayton Court boardroom." The room fell silent as I stepped in, my heels clicking on the polished floor. Lloyd sat at the far end, his customary assurance supplanted by heavy circles beneath his eyes and a wrinkled demeanor. "Good morning," I stated, assuming my position at the head of the table, without uttering a sound. "Modulator today. No evasion through video calls." "Where is the owner?" one board member inquired while glancing around anxiously. You direct your gaze towards her as I place my portfolio on. Proper introductions are warranted, as the Lord's chair has been pushed back. "This is a jest. Your quarterly figures are absurd," I responded, retrieving the. "Shall we review the performance charts?" The boardroom doors swung open, revealing my father. A person entered abruptly, accompanied by 2 security guards. "Sir, you cannot," one guard began. "It is acceptable," I dismissed them. "Allow him to remain. He ought to witness this." "What have you done, My father's face was flushed with anger. "Do you comprehend the consequences of your actions?" "Family, I have precisely followed your instructions and indicated an unoccupied chair." "Father, please sit down and observe while your son attempts to defend his stance only on merit." Lloyd's hand trembled as he fumbled. "I own the quarterly reports that we have all reviewed," I intervened. "They demonstrate a systematic failure of leadership, poor decision-making, and an over-reliance on personal ties. In contrast to commercial acumen, my father initiated this endeavor. I am capable and determined to succeed. I have taken a stand. For years, this company has functioned based on nepotism. Favoritism concludes today. Departments must either perform or face changes. Lloyd whispered this as revenge, since we did not treat you as you desired." I circled the table. Is business a subject you never had to study because everything was provided to you? My phone buzzed with a text from Eric. AA is en route with your mother. Security has confirmed it. Perfectly timed. The doors swung open once more as my mother entered, tears cascading down her cheeks, followed closely by AA. Cease this madness, my mother implored. I implore that we resolve this matter as a family. I laughed yesterday, you were organizing an intervention due to your belief that I was delusional, and now you wish to reconcile. Due to our lack of knowledge on the precise commencement of AA, you were unaware. I regret to inform you that I return to the board. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for this interruption, but perhaps it is illuminating. This exemplifies the precise nature of unprofessional conduct that has been condoned for an excessive duration. Hiera, my father's voice descended to a perilously low tone. If you do, there is no return to my expected assessment of Lloyd's performance. Metrics displayed on the wall, experiencing familial disappointment and observing Lloyd's unmerited advancement while I labored to progress from. We provided you with everything. My mother wept. You presented me with a thrift store gift card for my 30th birthday, which I discarded. As I retrieved the item from my jacket pocket and chuckled, the board members shifted uneasily while my familial drama unfolded. Before Mr. Burns, I formally addressed Lloyd, stating that he has two options. Either resign freely or participate in a 6-month performance improvement plan under direct supervision. The choice is yours. Lloyd glanced at our father and then at me, questioning whether I would truly betray my own brother, asserting that I had brought this upon myself. I remained seated. Reconsider your decision. The situation was tense as Ava clutched our mother's arm. Our father's jaw tightened. Finally, Lloyd replied, I will accept the improvement. I approved the proposal and nodded to Sarah, who commenced distribution. You will report directly to Sarah promptly. Every decision and deal will necessitate her approval. The approval process is not yet complete. Despite Ava's warning, the task is now complete. I activated a button on my device. Security has entered. Please take my family out, excluding Lloyd, who remains. As the paperwork was being finalized, my mother turned back and asked, Sierra, why is it like this? Since you have never seen me, I stated softly, you now have no option. The doors are closed. Behind them, leaving Lloyd to contemplate his improvement plan as the board awaited. I addressed the room regarding the direction. Shall we discuss substantive business 3 hours later? I observed the city from my office window when Eric gently knocked. Upon entering, he stated that your family had departed. Your mother fled in tears, and your father is absent. Individuals are already contacting her public relations staff with threats of litigation, and Lloyd remains involved. With Sarah appearing astonished, I nodded while manipulating the gift card in my pocket. Was it worth it? Eric inquired softly. I turned to confront him. Ask me tomorrow, I replied, but, gazing at my reflection in the window, I stand tall, finally seen. Respected, aware of the answer. Cost of revenge may be substantially high, however, the expense of remaining unseen was greater as the autumn wind swirled around me. I stood outside my childhood residence, the thrift store gift card weighing heavily in my pocket, while Eric grasped my hand. I must accomplish this, he affirmed. Indeed, I do. I ascended the well-known steps, and I rang the doorbell, and my mother opened the door, appearing smaller in some way, yet perfect. The cosmetics and jewelry remained, although a transformation was evident in Kiera's eyes. She stepped back. I did not anticipate your arrival, although you requested it. She displayed her text message, indicating its significance, and guided us into the living room, where, to my astonishment, only Lloyd was present. I am waiting, but there is no indication of AA or our father. Where is everyone else? I inquired about Dad's whereabouts. Lloyd stated that his voice, devoid of its customary arrogance, was indicative of his current situation in his lawyer's office. I am here to discuss her divorce proceedings once more, and I requested your presence. To be, my mother stated as she sat down, because it is time we conversed, truly converse. I remained standing. There was nothing. Lloyd interrupted, stating that there remains much to articulate regarding how I have devoted the past 3 weeks to genuine study. My employment unexpectedly surprised me when Sarah candidly acknowledged her difficulties. However, she is equitable and possesses greater knowledge of business operations than I ever took the initiative to acquire. My mother distorted her wedding. Recently, we have all engaged in some studying. I retrieved the gift card. Have you realized that we were unkind? She murmured that we were so engrossed in our conception of achievement that we failed to perceive. It is quite tardy for that awareness. Did Lloyd stand up for that reason? I have been examining the company's financial records, specifically focusing on them this time under your leadership. Achieved a 40% boost in profits within 3 weeks due to my diligent efforts. Success. I comprehend his gesture of running a hand through his hair, and I am beginning to grasp the rationale behind it. Eric, who had been mute until this moment, articulated his understanding of your actions. It is not equivalent to change, yet my mother concurred that it is a beginning. She withdrew. I requested your presence, due to an envelope. I opened it gingerly. Depicted a solitary snapshot of myself during my college graduation, standing alone. The family lavished attention on Lloyd's recent promotion. I discovered this while organizing my desk, she remarked. The moment I truly observed you was when you stood there adorned with your honor ribbons, showcasing your accomplishments, yet none of us acknowledged it. Mother, my voice faltered. Allow me to complete my statement. She rose, adjusting her skirt. I cannot alter the past, nor can we reverse the pain we inflicted. Yet, I can convey to you. I am proud of you, not due to your ability to outsmart us all, nor because you are. You are successful now because you persevered, even when we lost faith in you. Lloyd cleared his throat. Sarah's improvement strategy has facilitated my acquisition of genuine knowledge. He hesitated, expressing a desire to genuinely earn his job this time. I saw. Eric, who nodded slightly, acknowledged that it would not be easy. I stated that circumstances cannot revert to their previous state. We do not desire them, my mother responded. We wish to progress, if you will. I extracted the gift card once more, examining its inexpensive plastic material. I presented it to my mother, instructing her to retain it as a memento of what transpired. We cannot return to her emotional state because she accepted it with tears, so what happened? It depends. I finally sat down with Eric alongside me. Are you prepared to proceed? Understand my true self, not the idealized version you desire, but my own identity. In unison, they affirmed, let us commence with the truth. I leaned forward, all of. No more masks, no more pretense from any of us. Lloyd nodded. I will proceed first. I have felt apprehensive daily at work due to my inadequate understanding of my job responsibilities. My mother, a therapist, quietly inquired about my emphasis on appearances. For an extended period, I experienced a constriction in my chest regarding genuineness. I am in a relationship with Eric, which has lasted for some months, and he has been increasingly supportive. The truth existed between us, unrefined and palpable, more than this family ever was. Essential, so what now? Lloyd inquired. I rose, pulling Eric with me. I am creating something innovative and authentic. Nonetheless, I first consulted my mother regarding my hosting duties. An authentic supper next week, without pretenses or ostentation, simply genuine. She expressed her desire softly, and as I departed, I felt a sense of lightness. The vengeance that had motivated me for an extended period was evolving into something different, but not precisely forgiveness. However, the most effective form of revenge may not include the annihilation of one's adversaries, but rather compel them to evolve into superior individuals. Individuals may experience personal growth during that procedure.